Hey everyone, so this video is going to be a little bit different than some of the other ones in that I don't really have any guidance or advice in this video. All I have is my truth. And so let me tell you what I mean. So I had gotten a response from a friend of mine who has been watching my videos, and you know who you are. But he mentioned that he couldn't believe how positive and upbeat I am. And I really appreciated that. And it was really nice to hear, but it also made me aware that there is an illusion of social media, right? That can paint a picture that isn't necessarily the full picture, if at best, right? I mean, sometimes it's a completely inauthentic picture, but at best, it's just not the whole picture. And I really just wanted to make sure that the whole picture was there for people to see and to know. Because I don't want to give off the impression that, becoming enlightened and aware of things gives you a complete roadmap to euphoric, utter happiness that is never threatened or never comes down off its high position or whatever, high vibration. I have dark days. I have really dark days. I mean, I mentioned in the last video, but I recently lost my dad to cancer 3 months ago after a hard battle that, was only a year from finding out to losing him. And then the week leading up to his celebration of life, in which I was to give a really, vulnerable speech where I poured my heart out, a couple days before, my cat, Bengal, died of kidney disease after a year previously finding out. And she was with me for 18 years. She did everything with me. You could see her all over this channel. I mean, we did everything together. So the grief of losing my dad had sort of dissipated a little bit, enough to manage and get by. Luckily, she was there to help me. My cat was there to kind of cushion the blow, but in a moment when the grief was coming back, it was double time, because now the grief of losing her was just added to it. So I ended up giving a speech about my dad at his celebration of life that I think a lot of people there, if you were there, I think were a little bit taken aback by because of the amount of emotion that I showed. And, not in a bad way, but in a way that I think took people, by surprise in its complete and utter nakedness. So I've been really dealing with loss. And it comes after years of rebuilding myself to a place where I could feel like I'm at least in a positive vibration after years and years of addiction, where I was lost in darkness. So now I find myself trying to manage the grief, but also trying to manage anger and frustration and uncertainty, wondering when things are going to shift, because although it may seem like I have a lot of things understood, and I do feel like I do feel like I have learned a lot from these, from this life, especially from the last decade. And I'm now applying that awareness in a way that helps me traverse my life. And that's what I want to share. But I am by no means in a situation where I have a foolproof map, where things aren't difficult. where I don't know where I'm actually heading. I know where I want to head. I know how I want to feel getting there. I know what's best for my psyche and my physical body in getting there. But I don't know where there is. I don't know where there is. I don't know what's coming. Let's lay it all out there. You know, in terms of where I'm spending my time, I do stained glass, and that's slow going. It brings me a lot of joy and a lot of pleasure, but it's slow going. It's not this blank check to millions of dollars that is coming now that I'm following my passion. I mean, that's utterly ridiculous to even say, but I think people are under the impression that that can happen, or that it happens that way, and maybe it is lucky for some people. Okay, so I have stained glass. I'm working on it, right? I'm working on it. I have my freelance job, which pays me a lot, but is very infrequent in the amount of work that comes across and when. I don't really know when it's coming. Sometimes it's a lot. Sometimes it goes dormant for months at a time. I have this YouTube channel where I'm trying to put out content that is helpful to others. But I don't have many subscribers and I don't get many views. So I'm not making any ad money. This is not making me any money. That's okay. That's okay. But it's all very frustrating. Very frustrating. To continue to put effort forward and to not see the dividends that you think you deserve yet is very easily demoralizing, and something that I'm constantly battling against to keep moving forward in that positive and upbeat way as best I can. Now, I bring that energy to the work that I do because it brings me joy. I bring that energy to the videos I produce because helping people is teaching or sharing what I've learned. But another piece to this is the truth of all the other times, and not all the other times, but all the times that are not seen, which is a majority of the time. Now, I'm not a majority of the time unhappy or frustrated or angry, but I am some of the time. I scream and shout and swear. My faith is rocked very frequently, actually. Very frequently. My faith in the universe and spirit and whatever's beyond. That's why I talk like that. That's why I say whatever you believe. That's why I say however much weight you want to put in its reality. That's why I say to the universe, to spirit, to God, to whatever. Because I don't know what that whatever is, and my faith in it is constantly challenged. My patience has been constantly challenged. And I've built that patience. And yet it's still tested. And I still find myself impatient. So maybe you see this video and you go, you're being upbeat still. And you're being maybe not positive, but I'm trying to deliver this information in a way that's helpful. And so in that way, yes, it's upbeat and positive, hopefully. But it doesn't mean that I am constantly elevated among the, higher than the clouds and feeling all good and happy and sunshine and rainbows. I did make a post when I made a rainbow stained glass and said sometimes it is about that and sometimes it is, but it ain't always. It is not always. And so I just want this video to be a little bit of a diary entry into my life so that you can see that it's a battle for even those of us who feel like we have some answers and have some knowledge to share. Do not ever think that anyone has a foolproof plan. And do not ever believe in the illusion of others that say they have it all figured out. Because let me tell you something that you can hang your hat on that you can take to the bank. They do not have it all figured out. I do not have it all figured out. You will not ever have it all figured out. Nobody ever figures it all out. So don't go under any illusion that that's the case. And be patient with yourself in understanding that you can take some advice from others and not think you're behind. And not feel like you've missed a step or you're missing out on something that someone on YouTube is living it up. And maybe some of them are right now. Maybe that's what life has presented with them as their challenge and or whatever it is, karma, whatever it is, lessons, whatever it is. But people that are watching my videos need to know that there are dark days and they are difficult. And I get mad and I get frustrated and I get impatient just like everybody else. So I hope that video was something that illuminated a little bit more for you and gives you a frame of reference to understand that it's, not an easy road to try to live an enlightened and aware life. It's difficult. In fact, it gets even more difficult because you're challenged even more. Your faith is challenged even more. So it's not an easy road. That's why a lot of people as souls don't choose it. But it's rewarding, and I still have hope and faith that it will show the dividends that are necessary for me in my journey and in my soul's evolution. Okay, I hope to see you again here soon. Bye.